Shalom. First and foremost, all thanks and praises unto our power, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Warakakwadash. Peace, blessings, and much respect to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, on down to the rest of the elders who rule well within Israel. Salutations to the hopeful elect throughout the four corners of this whole entire earth, no matter where, whom they may be, or what they may look like, pushing out this purified truth. To the rest of the church who believe as well, you men who may not be teachers or prophets, you women, sons, and daughters also. The water, which means thank you to Yahweh Shai, because without him enduring and going to that cross for the world of Israel and the world of Israel alone, none of this would even be possible whatsoever. All right, so this is Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 11. Wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase. And the labor that this is referring to is us laboring in this ministry. See, the riches of this world are going to be dissolved. They're going to be done away with. All right, this system as we know it eventually is going to crash. But if we're laboring for the kingdom of heaven, our labors are not going to be in vain, and our wealth will never diminish. But wealth gotten by vanity, even if, you're making an honest living, you're getting your money the right way, so to speak, eventually all this is going to be a thing of the past. But if we're laboring in this ministry, if we're feeding our spirit, okay, that's the real wealth. That's the real riches. Wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase. So we have to keep laboring and doing this work. Hope deferred maketh the heart sick, but when the desire cometh, it is a tree of life. So we hope for the kingdom. We're hoping to be delivered. But hope deferred, things seem to be delaying at times. It can really make you sick in your mind. It can bring you to a low state. You can fall into depression. You can fall into anxiety. You can fall into a state of just being really unsure, maybe. You might be questioning if you're a man of the Lord. You might be questioning if you're on the right track, And of course, we're on the right track. But we can't let the negatives get in the way of what's important. Okay? Feelings are fleeting. So when times come where we might feel low in the spirit, we might have to pray, we might have to fast, we might have to get into the scriptures, Maybe a glass of wine might help you unwind. Okay? There's different things that we can do, and ultimately, depending on the Lord, casting our anxiety or our cares upon him, that's how we're going to make it. And although it might feel like hope is being deferred, our hope is not in vain. So now let's go to the book of Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 49 and verse 6. And he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob. So raising up the tribes of Jacob, this is labor, okay? And to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth. And the light to the Gentiles is still referencing Israelites here. Thus saith the Lord, the Redeemer of Israel, and his Holy One, to him whom man despiseth, to him whom the nation abhorreth, to a servant of rulers, kings shall see and arise. Princes also shall worship because of the Lord that is faithful, and the Holy One of Israel, and he shall choose thee. So the Lord is choosing the Israelites. And when we go out and teach this word, we're teaching salvation unto our people. Let me jump back to Isaiah 49 and 4. Then said I have labored in vain. So we're laboring in this ministry. And through this labor, that's how we're going to be rewarded. We're not laboring in vain. Okay? Then I said I have labored in vain, which is a feeling you may feel sometimes going through the afflictions, the burdens, the rejection. It feels like no one's listening ever, Then I said I have labored in vain. I have spent my strength for naught. Brothers will come into this ministry when they're young. They still have their strength. Then as you get older in this ministry, your body's breaking down. Your flesh is getting in the way. You're like, man, I'm still here. I haven't been saved yet. it might feel like you're doing this for nothing, or you've done this for nothing. And no, that's not true. The only way you're going to do this for nothing is if you put your hand to the plow and then you decide for whatever reason you're going to turn back, and then you actually fall through with that. I have spent my strength for naught and in vain, yet surely my judgment is with the Lord and my work with my God. So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, he sees our labor, and our labor is not in vain. Although sometimes it might feel like that, but our labors are not in vain. Okay? Let's go to the book of Hebrews. Hebrews chapter 6 and 10. For God is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love. So this is indeed work. But although you might not see the effort that you're putting in taking place before you at times, you know, when you go to work, although you might have to wait a week or two, you're expecting to get that paycheck. Well, in this ministry, we might not get paid every week or every 2 weeks, but we have a spiritual, a heavenly bank account that's being loaded. Okay? A trillionaire is going to look like a bum when we get our reward, when we get paid. And then in the midst of waiting for our reward, the Lord throws us blessings now. You know, sometimes, you know, our investment, the Lord will dab into our savings, so to speak, and he'll throw us something, metaphorically speaking. But my point, though, being in this ministry, it is work and it's not in vain. And we are being paid. We are being rewarded for this. And those rewards, those payments here on earth may not come in the form that we may want at times, but the Lord comes through for us. All right, doing good. He's protecting you. He's revealing things unto you. Okay. He's not allowing your enemies to overthrow you. These are all tokens of being a laborer in the Lord. But overall, we're going to receive the kingdom of heaven, which means we're going to receive everything. For God is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love. So if you love your neighbor, if you love yourself, if you love your family, okay, once you start doing this work, you have to keep laboring, which ye have showed toward his name, and that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister. So we're doing this for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, and we're ministering unto the Israelites, the Lord's people. As much as we may be denied and rejected, it may not seem like what we're doing is really moving like that, but it absolutely is. I guess depending on who you're asking and what point of view you're asking. You know, someone like me, I've never been one in my 12 years of teaching to have some viral video or to be a part of a camp or to, you know, have enough people really acknowledge that I'm doing this work just like other brothers are doing. You know, you're kind of under the radar. And at times it might feel like it's for nothing, but it's not. Okay. Malachi 3 and 14. Ye have said it is vain to serve God. And many people might think that. They might see a man like myself going out there teaching, and they're like, man, he's still out there. People still ain't listening to that man. Why is he still doing that? Ye have said it is vain to serve God, and what profit is it that we kept his ordinance, and that we have walked mournfully before the Lord of hosts? So yeah, many have that mentality, like, man, it's a waste of time serving the Lord. Nobody got time for all that. But see, we have to be faithful. We have to remain in our hope. Okay? And see, right now, serving the Lord, where it may not be the most popular thing to do, that's really where it counts. We haven't even really, you know, been afflicted to the point of death, and we know these days may come. But the things that we go through, it doesn't take away. It's still a lot. All right, brothers still go through a lot. Brothers wrestle with a lot. Ye have said it is vain to serve God, and what profit is it that we have kept his ordinance? So many will try to discourage us and tell us what we're doing is a waste of time. There's no profit in it. You know, you're not in no church building. You're not setting up no food stand. You know, you're not doing nothing for the community to give them food. You know, you're not showing our people how to set up a business or how to create generational wealth. You know, you're talking about repentance and how you're going to be tested and you're going to catch hell. Nobody wants to go through that. And that's how a lot of people may think. Like, that's vain. I ain't got time for that. But see, they don't understand the reward. And plus, the Lord has to choose you. You don't choose him. All right. So as many may deem this as foolishness and madness, according to Wisdom of Solomon 5, this is indeed the greatest thing that we can be doing. Okay. So let's go to Luke chapter 16, and I'm going to just wrap this up. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Luke chapter 16 and 10. He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. And he that is unjust in least is unjust also in much. So if you're willing to be faithful, even when it doesn't seem to be the most popular thing, people aren't acknowledging you, you're being rejected, you're being suppressed, you're being silenced to some degree, you're being blackballed, videos are being buried, okay? He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. So how much more when we receive everything? See, if we're able to be faithful now in our captivity, we're able to be faithful now with all the rejection and opposition, how much more when we are gifted, when we are given the reward? And he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much. So you're either about this or you're not. Okay? Someone who's wicked, they just gonna be wicked. Someone who's righteous, they should stay righteous because we're on the right path. So I'm gonna go on ahead and just I'll read 11. If therefore ye have not been faithful in the unrighteous mammon, who will commit to your trust the true riches? And see, we have the true riches and we're laboring for that. Although it might seem like we're not rich because you're not able to get everything that your heart desires right now. You know, you don't have, you know, thousands of women by the boatloads trying to get with you, you know, basically jumping over each other to try to get to you. You know, you don't have people deeming you a prophet. You're not getting credited for your efforts, so to speak. That's all right. We're going to receive the true riches in due time. All right. All we have to do is keep laboring because that bank account is indeed increasing. All right. And the works in which we do is the ability that's been given to us from Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. But I pray that this lesson, it was simple, easy to understand and edifying. Kahala Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. I'm out.